Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of the Straub Sports Show. Back after a week off. Little bro is back after 2 weeks off. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and welcome back to the show, Straub.
Thank you. Listen, 2 weeks ago, it was 95 degrees. I was by the pool. Today, I am just thankful it is gray and rainy and not gray and snowy. And so, listen, we're thankful for some things over here. But yeah, listen, I'm glad to be back, though. Glad to be back. I was dying because, listen, I missed some crazy sports things in my week off.
You didn't get to talk about the Super Bowl, so I mean, maybe we'll ask you about that on the way.
Not much to talk about.
No, I mean, there really wasn't. I didn't have your graphics, so we'll be able to talk a little bit of footy this week as well. That's kind of on me, but shout out to Bobby rocking with us. Absolutely. We are. Oh, my bad. We are the perfect show for your ride home. And while we're here, let's let everybody know where they can find the Straub Sports Show.
The Straub Sports Show. You can find us all over social media. You can find us on X at Straub Sports. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. You can find us on Instagram, Straub Sports Show, and on Spotify, the Straub Sports Show. I also like to make sure, give a shout out to our YouTube page, the Straub Sports Show. It is your one-stop shop for everything Straub Sports Show, whether it's the podcast, our interviews with Brown Legends, our interviews with the Falls Rapids coaching staff and players, or throwback to our last year interviews with Akron City FC. Anything Straub Sports Show is there on the Straub Sports Show YouTube page.
Did you take a class while I was gone? That was beautiful.
Listen, first of all, I appreciate that. Second of all, I know that's the actual first time you've seen the commercials just based on your reaction in the queue when we can see each other when nobody else can. And three, hey, man, I just went for it. But basically what happened is push came to shove. I knew I was going to be by myself, and I could not talk for an hour and a half straight without having something to buffer me in. So I made some commercials. That's how we get it done. But yeah, make sure you follow the Straub Sports Show everywhere. We appreciate you for rocking with us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you're there, and the Facebook page if you're there as well. In the meantime, Straub, let's get to it. Let's get to the news. I only have one real bit of news that kind of popped up so far, and that would be in terms of being interest to my show or our show. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders won't throw at the NFL Combine, but will partake in the interview process. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is becoming the new standard for a lot of top picks where they all know that they're going to go top 10. Unless there's an absolute disaster at the Combine, there's never a real chance that they're going to go below. And so you see a lot of these top 10 picks that the only real way for them to go up is to get better. And the only way to really kind of prove that is during your pro days or your interviews. And in your pro days, it's a lot more designed to kind of show you off than to test you. And so while it may not be better for the team, it's a lot better for the players to kind of showcase their good abilities and kind of not show their kind of inadequate abilities. And it doesn't seem like teams are really kind of are too upset with that. And so it's a win-win for, Shedeur Sanders there.
If he throws, he can only lose because he will be over-critiqued by media and fans. It's a lose-lose situation. I like that he's interviewing. I like that he's not doing, he's not just going to skip the combine completely, get in there, because one of the things that I have been screaming about, and I don't want to spend too much time on college football, but the draft's coming up, so we're going to start hitting it heavy at some point. But a lot of the criticism towards Shedeur about not being able, or being too much and being a handful and doing all this, it was kind of more towards his father. Like, Dion was the one talking, Dion was the one doing it, but it got shifted to Shedeur, and that was an unfair criticism. I think he's handled the media perfectly. I think he says the right things. And I think this gives him an opportunity to go in and be separated from all of that nonsense and show these guys, I'm going to lead your team. So I think it's a good situation. Let me round out on some things real quick. What's up, Nady? What's happening, brother? He's at work. Shout out to him. Got the headphones on. We won't tell on him.
I will say, though, this definitely does make it a little bit more difficult for teams in terms of this really shows kind of what scouting and what management really looks for, because this really kind of started when you saw these pro days of these quarterbacks throwing 70 yards on a dime and stuff like that in kind of like a Zach Wilson,
baby.
Jamarcus Russell, Zach Wilson, where these quarterbacks obviously have the arm strength and the talent, but it really takes a team to dive deeper into these players to see if there's more than just the talent that they're going to bank on for such a high pick. And I think that's where you start to see the good and the bad teams in terms of player development or player assessment really kind of branch itself apart, because now it's not just laid for you on a platter in the combine. You really have to dig for that stuff.
Don't get too far, Nick, because I am going to go to your question here in a second.
Great.
The other thing is, and this isn't talked about a lot, it's kind of referenced sometimes in the draft, but unfortunately during the NFL draft, we still want to protect people like Mel Kiper and other people. And I'm not about to diss his draft board, but hear me out on this. We've moved into analytics. We moved into other things in terms of scouting players and what makes more, we use analytics in every sport now. Why? Because guts, it doesn't always win. Sometimes we need some more information. Teams are only going to see so much with a guy with no pads throwing to wide receivers running routes with no defenders. You can only see so much there. The scouting combine is for these guys who are 5th round picks trying to be higher round picks, 3rd round picks trying to go up, undrafted guys trying to make a draft pick, showing that they've got some skills. And obviously, if you're a wide receiver or a DB, I would be running the 40 time too, just to get myself on TV and be cool. But other than that, it's not for some of these top picks, to be honest. We saw what you did on the field in tape with offensive linemen and a defensive line coming at you and DBs all over your wide receivers. What did you do there? And what skill set can I develop off of that is where we're going to go. More than that. And not a lot of people like to hear that, because we still really, really love our combines and we love to talk about them. And oh my goodness, he put up 36 reps on the bar and he jumped really high and he threw it 85 yards with his blindfold on. Shit, that doesn't matter. So yeah. I'm not mad at it. Now, we got thrown a loop and I'm sticking to it. I'm going with it. Drew, Nick wants to know, have you come around to a rookie quarterback at the number 2 pick? Nick prefers Sanders over Cam, but okay with either.
So I would say it's less that I'm come around to it. It's more that I've basically accepted it. Because all the reports coming out is that we're drafting a quarterback, and that's kind of what's happening. There's no movement in free agency as from what I've seen in terms of quarterbacks. People are still saying that we're going to land Cousins. I don't believe that that's the case anymore. But do I still believe in my, draft assessment? And I think whenever we get to the draft, I'm still going to do what I believe is the best for the Browns. I'm not going to do what they should pick. I'm not going to do what I think they're going to pick. I'm going to do what they should pick. But I think in the end, I do believe that they are going to have they were going to draft a rookie quarterback, and I do believe it is going to be Shedeur Sanders. I think that's just the fact that I don't think Cam is going to be available when we come to us, and I think well, not saying he's a second place quarterback or he's a second best quarterback, but I believe he is the best quarterback that's going to be available when we have the pick.
Wow, I'm impressed. I think that's the right answer. Look at Arizona. And shout out to Nick, because I had made this point and then he gave me the team. Draft a quarterback. And if he doesn't hit, just draft another one the next year. Like, they drafted Josh Rosen. The shit didn't work out. So what do? Boom. Hit the trigger on Kyler Murray. And regardless of what you think about Kyler Murray right now, he's not a bad quarterback. So they said, okay, this isn't working. We're doing something else. All right. So Browns, grab Shedeur. I like Cam Ward too. I think both of these guys are going to be good quarterbacks in the NFL. I'll take a stamp on that. And it's not just riding the top tier talent, because there was guys last year, like I said, JJ McCarthy would be a decent NFL quarterback. And until he hurt the ACL, he was on track to win that job in Minnesota. So there are going to be guys further down that will be good. I don't think Will Howard is going to be one of them. Spoiler alert. I'm just getting that out there now because that hype train is rolling and I'm stepping away.
Oh, it's the Natty hype train. It's the Natty. It's the McCarthy hype train that got him drafted in the first round.
But yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. Pick one of these guys, and like I said, if it doesn't work out, try it again year 2. If it doesn't work out, draft a different guy. What up, Ron? What up, Mel? What's going on? Our 216 Sports Network family checking in with us. And then our last point, if you trade Miles before the cap reduction, then we will need a cheap roster, lots of rookies. Man, I still don't think you should do it. I think you should try to convince him any way possible. But
as per reports, and I guess this is a bit of news today, according to Myles Garrett, he is quoted as he has slammed the door shut on any contract negotiation with the Browns. And so it seems like that is kind of come and gone. We'll obviously talk more about it, I think, when something is kind of official. But obviously something that it seems like is very fractured in terms of Myles Garrett is very set on what he wants to do.
Then it's time to pull the haul in. It's time to ship him out and get everything that you possibly can get back. First off, what's up? Hey, we love you. And secondly, that is the single greatest compliment I think we can ever have. I'm not even gonna lie. I appreciate that, Shannon, a lot. Because what we try to do, try to make sure we sound smart. Educate. Yeah. I've never been accused of that in my life, and I appreciate that. But yeah, if he's slamming the door shut, it's time to make the move. Don't be stubborn. Like, no offense, we're going to talk about the NBA here in a second. I'm going to talk about the Lakers because I'm going to force y'all to hear about it. Dallas, we can go back and forth and say it was the wrong move. However, if Luka had said, I want out, you got to get him out. You know what I mean? If Miles is saying he wants out, you've got to go get a pass. You cannot bring in. Gone are the days where you can just go, well, I'm gonna just fine you and you're gonna have to play. Those days are gone. Your fan base isn't gonna allow it. The players aren't gonna allow it. Ownership's not. It's not gonna happen. So ship this man out and get as much as you can. Send him to Atlanta and get Kirk Cousins in some picks for him. I don't know, but it's time to move on and get some picks.
Yeah, I think. I said I don't mind the Atlanta trade if I'm
the Rams for Matthew Stafford. I don't know what.
I don't even know if Stafford wants to come. No, I don't mind the Atlanta trade. I think I have to look at it kind of from a bigger perspective, but we'll see. That's farther down the line. I'm not. I am not mentally prepared to talk about that subject yet.
That's fine. We won't do that to you on your first show back, but no, and this is this will be the last point. An angry star won't help our culture, your culture. I was reading reading that word for word. Like, no, or maybe holler at Buffalo, but I don't know if Buffalo's got any more picks left, or ones that you would actually want, to be honest with you, unless you're collecting a lot of mid-round picks. But if you don't want to be there, get the haul for him, do it before the draft, and collect as much as possible and build around that rookie. Because I did say this, I can't leave this alone because I also made this point. Your running back room now needs help. And your wide receiver room needs help. So it's not like adding Shedeur or Cam was going to put you on the doorstep of an AFC championship. You still need to kind of build the roster back up.
That's
now
kind of why I'm okay with not getting a quarterback in the first pick.
Well,
you know what I mean?
but now you trade Miles away, you rebuild your running back room, you rebuild your wide receiver room with those extra picks, plus the ones you have, draft the quarterback on top of it, and look at you're Houston, and you gave them those picks. So maybe you should get some retribution. All right, we're going to move on from the Cleveland Browns in the middle of February here.
Thank you.
And we're going to finish up the news segment with our touch on the NCAA men's and women's basketball. Selection Sunday is upon us. So these will be some of the last rankings before what I consider one of the top 3 days in all of sports happens, and that is the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. We will start on the men's side, where Auburn, your unanimous number 1 team in the country. They are number 1 for the 7th straight week. A big one I do want to mention, preseason, because there's Auburn at number 1. Preseason number 1, Kansas, out of the top 25 for the first time this year. Alabama slides, while Michigan State and St. John's are your big risers this week. Shout out to St. John's and their coach, who
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino. Shout out to Rick Pitino, who continues to not age, never get old, and own the Big East. So big news there. Anything you want to touch on? Where are your Bearcats?
Bearcats had a mighty stumble in terms of conference play, but some key wins down the stretch. We are again in a position where we have some key games coming up, and if we win them, we have a better shot than last year.
You had to win the Big East, or you had to win the conference.
Big 12. Exactly.
Big East. Wow. How old am I?
That's about 15, 20 years ago.
Big 12 to get in. How much harder does that get? What do you?
That's what I'm saying. We have better odds this year. We're playing Houston on Saturday, which is not an easy opponent, but we have played them well, and obviously we know them. This is also very good. Where's the Notre Dame at?
We're on the next bracket.
Yeah, there you go.
Where are you on the other side either?
No, because we're worse. We're worse than the women's side.
Okay, then don't be talking about my Irish. Thank you, Daniel. Back me up on that Big East. I miss the Big East. Bring it back.
I miss the Big East too.
At least for basketball.
Yes.
BYU, newcomer to the top 25 this week. The Creighton men unfortunately fell out, but did receive some votes. Hey, look, man, this is it. It's game time now. Conference championships are about to start. Is it this week or next week? This week.
Everyone's got about 3 games left.
Okay, so yeah, we're wrapping.
And then we got probably about a week or 2, and then we got conference over the weekend. And then we'll have selection Sunday. I think it's March 8th. I think I said.
Yes. So we don't start at the beginning of March, but we're getting in there. But yeah, it's closing time now. So if you're down near in that 20, I would say 27 to 30 range, you're trying to make sure that your resume is solid and make sure that you've done a couple things. Now, as we never forget, because I like talking about them more anyways, we don't forget about our ladies. Texas, your new number 1, after my Irish were upset by NC State in double overtime, making Texas the 3rd team to hold that number 1 ranking in 3 weeks after UCLA held it for 12. My Irish just for 1. And they are the 5th team. When you add in preseason 1 South Carolina, that'll be 4 number 1s this year, just the 6th time ever since the poll began in 1976. Why do I say that? Why do I bring that fact up? Because I've been telling you even before we were doing the top 25 graphics, how this women's tournament is way more wide open than they have been in years. And there are plenty of teams, 1 through, I would say about
7, I think, are like the top echelon.
I would say you have to throw LSU in there because they've only lost 2 games this year.
Is LSU not 7?
Oh, they are 7. I apologize. I would even say down in North Carolina, NC State, even Tennessee, Ohio State girls are women are awesome as well. The tournament is wide open on the women's side. UCLA, as I mentioned, stays in at 2, followed by my Irish back down to 3, followed by USC. NC State are up to 9 after their upset. Florida State and Louisville are back in the top 25 this week as well.
Yeah, man. Listen, this like I was gonna mention the same thing is that you don't have a South Carolina or a UConn running the bracket this year. You have so many good teams that I think could honestly win this tournament. That I think you're not gonna have a last year where South Carolina just runs through and who can stop South Carolina. You're gonna have a Notre Dame versus UConn Final Four or a USC versus UCLA Final Four. Where you're like, any of these teams could win on a good day. And so it's going to be a lot fun to watch. I think the men's is going to be fun, but I think this is going to be a lot more just unpredictable. And that's what we love about the tournament.
Both brackets are going to be completely ridiculous for two reasons. On the men's side, we don't know who's actually good. On the women's side, everybody's good. So good luck. Because when you get to a Notre Dame UConn matchup, good luck. You know what I mean?
And
LSU Texas, good luck. Like I don't know what to tell you.
And if you're feeling a little fun,
yes,
we are bringing back the tournament challenge, the bracket challenge. It will be up probably within a week or so. Probably I would say before next show, it will be up. And so you can all get in there. It'll be a fun thing. We will make sure to keep the standings posted each week as we look at who is running the leaderboards. I'll have to look back and see who won last year's tournaments to see if they make sure they can run it back. But it's a lot of fun last year. We're hoping to get even more people in this year. I'm excited.
I was close on the women's side last year. Men's side, I was in it for a little while.
This is probably, in my opinion, other than like the first week of college football, the most fun week, like first week of the entire year.
Love it. It's my favorite day. I'm saving dollars in 50-cent pieces from my check every week to try to make some parlays and some gambling happen. So we will see what happens there. Yes, that'll do it for the new segment. That was way longer. Listen, you throw the Browns in, you throw football in, you just completely derail the show. Yeah. All right, bro. It's excuse me. It's time to give away some awards. And we're going to start with some not so good ones. It's time for your Straub bruh of the week, your bonehead of the week, your head slap of the week, your backhand of the week. I'm sorry to be so violent. I don't know what else to say. And I get to start, and this is fun. I'm going to roast a longtime enemy of the show anyways. The New York Yankees were in the news. Yeah. The Yankees have finally reversed a long-standing policy forbidding facial hair minus mustaches, and they're here this week for me because you would say, well, no, Ken, that's great. That's awesome. No, they're here for me because you don't get credit for righting a wrong that is stupid as hell to begin with. And that was so stupid to begin with that you don't get any credit for righting that wrong. Number one. Fair. Number two, the New York Yankees, who also were in the news this week because they have decided to stop playing Frank Sinatra's New York, New York when they lose, because clubhouse staff and players were disappointed in having a sing-along after they lose. Why do you get Straub bruh of the week twice, New York Yankees? One, because you get no credit for righting a wrong that was stupid to begin with. And two, what is wrong with you? Just play the song. Nobody cares. Your fans just want to sing. Guess what they play when the Cleveland Guardians lose? Cleveland rocks. Guess what they play when the Guardians win? Cleveland rocks. Guess what people sing no matter what when they're walking out of the stadium? Cleveland rocks. How about that? New York Yankees, your Straub bruh of the week. My last one, real quick tidbit, Manchester United for ignoring the living piss out of me. More on them later.
That is fair. Yeah, New York Yankees, I don't even need to get into that, just how much they annoy me with their attitude and pompousness. Anyways, yeah, okay, so my Straub bruh of the week, typically it's someone that aggravates me or disappoints me or something like that. This one, I think, was just funny in a stupid way, and so it was more like a bruh than like come on now. Jason Peters. Obviously defensive tackle, retiring with the Seattle Seahawks. And listen, amazing player, 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ, fantastic tackle. The Seattle Seahawks posted a screenshot of Jason Peters' LinkedIn page after his retiring, after showing that he has accepted a new job in the office and posted the update on his LinkedIn page, which I guess you could do. It's, I don't think anybody's really looking you up on LinkedIn. I feel like you could kind of just know the guy. And so he is my Straub Bro of the Week for being just very silly and dumb with updating his LinkedIn page after however many 19 seasons in the NFL.
As an offensive tackle, I think you said defensive tackle.
That's did I have been offensive? Yeah,
that's okay. That's all right. Yeah. Hey, listen, man, you got to keep the LinkedIn page up to date, man. Mine isn't. So I've got to update with all my 2 and 6 Sports Network and Straub Sports Show stuff. I guess I'm missing out on speaking engagements or something. I don't know. All right, it's time for your Straub Bro of the Week, presented to you by.
We'd like to give a big shout out to somebody who's been rocking with us since day one of the podcast, and that's Austin Fink over at Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Make sure you follow them on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021 for all of the latest gear, and get your apparel at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. Don't ride the wave, create your own.
keep
Absolutely. Listen, man, I'm killing them. I love these so much. I got to maybe increase the volume a little bit. I need some feedback from the listeners on that, but I'm liking these. Shout out to our guy, Austin. Straub Bro of the Week, presented to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave, create your own, and become a Straub Bro of the Week. You've had 2 weeks to prepare. Give them to me, Straub.
Yes, and I had one for last week, and obviously we didn't do the show, but someone trumped it for this week, and that is Diana Taurasi. She has finally decided to hang up the sneakers and retire. Absolutely fantastic career. Just let's see, let me just rattle off the achievements here. Drafted first overall by the Phoenix, stayed on the same team her entire career. 2004 Rookie of the Year, 2009 MVP, 3-time WNBA champ, 11-time All-Star, 5-time scoring champ, and oh yeah, she is the leading scorer in all of WNBA history. Diana Taurasi, the White Mamba, absolute donned by Kobe Bryant. So the White Mamba.
It wasn't that face. I'm sorry.
Absolutely incredible career. One of the greats in terms of WNBA history. An absolute first ballot Hall of Famer. No doubt in my mind. Congratulations. Enjoy an amazing retirement. And also, by the way, she just retired, by the way. She is almost 43 years old and was playing in the WNBA and was averaging, let me find it here. Oh, yeah, 15 points at 43 years old. Insane. So congratulations to her.
First of all, I would never make that face because growing up, Diana Taurasi was my favorite women's basketball player. So shout out to her. She's a GOAT, an absolute beast. Me and her have beef recently with some of her Caitlin Clark comments, but that takes away nothing from just an amazing career internationally and put the game on the map. You know what I mean? She's one of those names when you mention the WNBA, with Cheryl Swoops and and Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi. That name is coming very, very quickly off the tongue, not far after that. So yeah, big shout out to her. I got a lot. We know how this rolls. First things first, me. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, solo show. We are up to 4,000 views, our largest viewership of any show, any video that we've ever done. A big shout out to Daniel, the owner of the Falls Rapids, who spreads the show out and allows people to take a listen and hear us. It was me, but in general, the numbers are doing fantastic. We're blessed and we're appreciative. The second one, two brothers No, not us. I'm not continuing to give us some love. Jason and Nicholas Robertson, who became the first brothers to score on the same day in the NHL since Pavel and Valeri Bure. Wow. Pavel Bure and Valeri Bure. I knew the name, but I just couldn't put them all together. When older brother Jason scored a hat trick for the Dallas Stars in their 4-3 win over the New York Islanders. And then little brother Nicholas had 2 in the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2 win over the Chicago Blackhawks. Almost had a hat trick. That could have been even better, but little brothers will let you down sometimes.
Even though they do better than the older brothers.
There it was. I knew he wasn't going to let that one let that one slide. And lastly, on the retirement end, Cowboys guard Zach Martin retired, stepping away from the game. I'm saddened by that, but it's also time. The body was falling apart on the man, and he couldn't stay healthy. And I don't blame somebody, especially that big of a human being, for not wanting to be in that much pain anymore. This is my guy, dude. A star lineman at Notre Dame. I knew the name then. Draft night, it was actually very funny. A lot of people will remember the Zach Martin pick because it is the pick in which we did not take Johnny Manziel. So there's that. That was everybody said Jerry was going to take him, but nope. He took the outstanding offensive guard from Notre Dame, who quietly turned into a Hall of Famer. He's given up no sacks, or it was like no false starts. The numbers are ridiculous. I don't even want to run through the numbers because I don't care about the numbers. Every time Zach Martin was in the game, I knew we were good. Okay. I know Tyron Smith being next to him was a big part of that, but when I knew Zach Martin was in the game, I knew we were good. And when Zach Martin was on the injury report, I was scared. Okay. Whether it was Tony Romo, whether it was Dak Prescott, that man was back there. It was not a tear. I know I wiped. It was not a tear. That man was solid back there. He was outstanding. I didn't get to watch a lot of Larry Allen in my Cowboys fanhood. I caught the tail end of the career. But for me, this is my guy. This is the greatest offensive lineman in Cowboys history because he's the greatest offensive lineman that I've got to watch his whole career of. Shout out to you, Zach. The line will not be as good without you because you are not replaceable. Enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, man. Listen, when I think of the Cowboys, especially kind of back since I can remember up until obviously now, the main thing that we knew was they had a good offensive line. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially back in the day in those Super Bowls, but even continuing on. And I think Martin was that piece where you guys weren't sure where you guys were going to get that offensive line help from. You had a lot of guys retire, a lot of really good guys retire or leave. And Zach Martin came in and filled that hole as best as he can and did an amazing job and kind of kept that offensive line, that bar as high as it could go.
And better than Joe Thomas.
Not going to go there. Humbly and respectfully disagree.
Oh, you know what? I think we
also two different positions.
I know, but I think we may have found our first fun ever split off 15-minute argument segment for the Straub Sports Show. Who's better, Zach Martin or Joe Thomas? That'd be funny.
When Zach Martin gets in the Hall of Fame,
he will be.
He will be. I'm saying when we do that segment, we'll have that discussion.
I like that. That'll be what is it? 3 years? 5 years? Sure, we'll still be doing the show if I'm alive. We'll still be rolling.
It'll be you and me just yelling at each other.
Hey, and with Landon recording it on his phone. That'll be nice. No, that's awesome. All right, well, that'll do it for the Straub Bro of the week. It is time to talk the Guardians. It is time to talk some Cavs. It's time to bring it home, and it's time to bring it local. So what does bringing it local make you think of?
Straub Sports Show. We are the official broadcast team for the Falls Rapids. Make sure you catch our broadcast live on the Straub Sports Show YouTube page for all of our preseason and regular season games. We want to give a big shout out to our guys over at Sports Tank, for they will be broadcasting our broadcast over in the UK and Ireland. Big shout out to those guys. Make sure you follow them on Facebook as well. Make sure you catch all of our interviews with the Rapids on our Instagram and our YouTube page. And make sure you follow the Falls Rapids on Facebook and Instagram. Hashtag spread the wave.
Straub. You rocking with these? Yeah, man. We will increase the volume next week on them. They are a little quiet, but I like what we're rocking with. All right, bro. Let's talk about the Guardians first. Baseball is back. Hammy's back. The boys are back. And I'm gonna start here. Okay. I'm gonna start with a topic that we talked about a lot last year, and that is Mr. Tristan McKenzie. Now, he did give up a long ball to Ellie De La Cruz in his first start. But what I liked and what I saw wasn't sharpness. Okay, it wasn't the fastball wasn't off. He looked comfortable. And that's the first time that dude has looked comfortable on a mound in 2 years. And that's what impressed me, because we talked about this last year in spring training. Pitching comes along last because you need it the most at the end of the year. There's no need to rev these guys up and get them rolling. Some of your hitters who can take some time off or keep the bat rolling and keep it hot, that's a different story. They're going to start slow as well, but those pitchers start slow. So it was great to see him comfortable.
No, I completely agree. I watched it, and it was one of those things where you just felt that he had more control, not of just his pitches, but of himself when he was on that mound. And obviously you've heard reports that apparently he is touching 95, which what he hasn't touched in, I don't think, since he's been in the majors.
Absolutely.
That curveball, he was talking about it, the one he kind of left hanging for the home run. He's continuing to work on it, continue to make sure it gets better and better. Obviously, the junk stuff comes along later in the spring training. He's just trying to get a feel for it. But in a time where we are still going to have to wait for Shane Bieber to come back midseason, when we just signed Means from the Orioles, who's not going to come back until midseason, you are going to need these guys who maybe didn't perform as well last year to really come through. And there's no bigger guy that we need that from than Tristan McKenzie. And all the signs right now are pointing towards that he is going to come and maybe not complete back to almost all-star, number one ace form, but if not there, really, really close to there.
First things first, I want to give some shout outs. Shout out to our Rapids guys checking in with us, Mari and Sean. I appreciate y'all. Always. This guy right here, he's going to join us when the Rapids get closer to the season. He's going to preview. I'm going to have him preview some games with us. And I didn't actually tell him this, so I'm going to spoil this now. Then next football season, when we start doing our 2 shows, he's going to come on and he's going to be our first celebrity guest game picker. Yeah, his choice of NFL or college. We'll throw up some games, and if he wins, he comes back. If he loses, we see how he does. We'll bring someone in, we'll have them pick, and then we'll go head to head. Winner moves on. I like this already, but we're gonna have our guy Deshaun on. He's going to talk football with us. He's going to talk Rapids football as that defense gets ready to take care of the PAFL. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk too much more. Daniel doesn't want me talking too much smack. But let's shift back into the baseball real quick. I agree with you.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Mom's here.
Mom's here.
What
are we doing?
My bad. It wasn't on my page. That's why I didn't scroll. I apologize. Hey, and we appreciate you, man. Don't be fighting no more, okay? I told you this team wins a World Series when Tristan McKenzie is your ace, or is that type of pitcher. Here go Tristan. Shane Bieber, who is now pitching 5 days a week. I am pleased to report that. That's a great thing to see. You got to hang on to this thing until Biebs gets back. The rest of these guys, it's time to perform. The other, I don't want to get too much in the spring training, but I do agree with you on there. I don't want to get too much in the spring training. Guardians fans, I do want to mention this. Catch as many of these spring training games as you can, because Travis Bazana is getting a chance. He is playing, and he hit his first home run the other day.
Oh,
3-run bomb.
I was sick Monday, Tuesday, and so I was Tuesday off of work, and so I was like, all right, throw the game on. I was feeling kind of better, and I saw it, and obviously I sent my boys just some stupid like Travis Bazana for Rookie of the Year, yada yada. But I think the fact that we can make these stupid things now and even just like talk about it because we're seeing things live is all I needed in my life. Like, I believe that, in my opinion, baseball for me is the sport that I look forward to most when it's not in season. Like, I love football. I may love football in season more than I love baseball in season, but when it's that December,
I still need it.
man, I need that baseball.
Still need it. Still need me some baseball. And I responded to you telling me that you told your boys Bazana for Rookie of the Year with that it makes me proud to be your brother that you have ridiculous spring training takes. Because we're gonna go 162-0. So I'm the level-headed one with less hot takes.
Brian Rocchio for MVP after he hit that double to start it off. Quan for Silver Slugger after he hit that home run. We're getting all the awards. All the awards.
What a mess. Hey, I will say that my guy Los is back, and that's all I care about.
Oh, it was so nice to see him. I will say he's going to be needed because, listen, they're not going to get far into it, but that second base spot looks very open right now, and not for a good reason.
Well, yeah, but he's not playing second base, so I don't know what you want.
He's going to be needed to dive on those first base.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a second baseman, but we just don't know when we're going to bring him up.
Yeah. I saw him bobble a grounder in that same spring training game. So,
all right, moving on to our other Cleveland team, and that would be
the one in season.
Yes, let's let them know. It's time to talk about your 48-10 Cleveland Cavaliers leading the East by 6 games over Boston. And at this point, because even I had to take a step back and look at the schedule because I'm like, All-Star game, playoffs. Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. We got some time. We're kind of in a waiting game. Top teams are kind of trying to keep the sweat, stay healthy. And these bottom teams are kind of trying to fight for your playoffs, your play-in game. And then something happened this week that kind of let me know that your Cavaliers kind of are not sleepwalking and they're breaking more than a sweat. Absolutely.
1 by 40.
Our other Falls Rapids players checking in. What's going on, Morgan? We appreciate you. Salute you. Our veteran in Cavs we trust. The game against the Grizzlies. No, it's not the Orlando game. I'll get to the Orlando game. It's the game against the Grizzlies. Donovan Mitchell was fighting for a loose ball. They got tied up on out of bounds on the ground, and there was some shoving, some little pushing, and a guy went to step over and on Donovan Mitchell. Well, not on Donovan Mitchell, but over Donovan Mitchell. And before that dude could get his foot to the floor, the entire Cavaliers bench and I think all of the starting 5 and more than half of the Cavaliers bench was right here. I love this. Get scrappy. It's time. It's time to bring the intensity up. Number 1. And number 2, this Cavaliers team, which I do watch, they have in the past kind of had a tendency to be a team, but they get punked sometimes. And this team's not getting punked anymore. And that's what I want to see right now. Yes, they're playing great basketball. How many times can I sit here week in and week out and tell you that? That's obvious. 48-10. That's the standard. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to play. Now I'm seeing other things. Now I'm seeing the team coming together, and this team is getting ready to make a playoff push.
So I think that moment is encompassing of, I think, 3 things. 1, I think it's the new coaching mentality. I think, and also with the winning, the kind of the swagger that they get to have. And I think 2, these players, they're not rookies, they're not sophomores anymore. They've been in the league. They know kind of what the league's about, and they know what they should and should not accept when it comes to guys talking crazy. And 3, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's a full season of Tristan Thompson on that bench saying this is not going to happen because he came for the playoffs, but he really didn't have that impact. A full season of veteran Tristan Thompson. Because listen, anytime you see a fight happen with the Cavs, that man is the first man out there shoving people, and I am perfectly okay with it. That's his role in this team.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you. I don't know if he's still in the comments. Nick, my guy Nick, who loves the Cavaliers more than anybody I know, who loved when we signed Tristan Thompson for the reason of This is a guy you need on the bench, a veteran who's won a championship, who knows what it takes. When Tristan got hurt last year, the first person in my messages was Nick saying, this is actually really horrible for the Cavs. And this is really bad. We need that veteran guy on the bench. We need that guy. And a whole year of Tristan Thompson, and look what you're seeing out of these Cavaliers. And not just Tristan Thompson, too. You got veterans in Jared Allen who are on the later side of their careers as well, guys who want to win. I do want to spotlight somebody, and that is our new trade asset, DeAndre Hunter. Everybody was a little worried, okay? And I told you, and what I said was, when he gets here, he's going to play a role. The shooting was good. The shooting wasn't. It was good. The defense was talked about. And I said, Atlanta doesn't play good defense. He's going to come here and play that 3-and-D role, and then we're going to see. My man is shooting 52% since he joined the Cavaliers, okay? And the defense has been great.
Yeah,
because he's been able to lock guys down and then not have to turn around on the offensive end and overcreate. Now the Garland being out a little bit. There he is. I knew he was coming back. TT is the glue. I gave you all the credit in the world there, Nick. He's playing his role, and now he's coming down. He's giving that effort on defense. Then he's coming down. I just got to get open. I don't have to worry about anything. And the other person I have to highlight, Ty Jerome.
Oh,
I mean, this is crazy. Okay. 19 against the Grizzlies, 19 against the Knicks, 26 against the Grizzlies. And then I think I got it in here. Oh, yeah. Then went out and we turned around and smacked the living hell out of Orlando. And he had another big game, big plays when they mattered, big plays down the stretch there in the second and third, or I would say first quarter, because by the second quarter, the game was over. Yeah, they went out and smacked Orlando last night. Another playoff team in the East that they've just completely obliterated. I'm almost scared we're blowing out these teams at this point.
It's one of those crazy things where I think because obviously everyone's clicking. And when everyone's clicking, we're putting up 130, 140 a night because that's just how good this team is. But the fact that guys 1 through, God, I don't know, 10 can score 15 points a night. So in case Mitchell has an off night, in case Garland has an off night, in case Mobley has an off night, you have other guys that can come up and maybe not score you 30, but could score you 15. So instead of scoring 140, you're scoring 120, and you're still probably winning the game because of how good your defense is. And I think that is the key there is you had years past where because Garland maybe wasn't performing in the playoffs, because Mobley wasn't filling out his body yet and wasn't being as dominant as he was, or if Allen was kind of getting bullied in some of those games, we didn't have anybody to put in and kind of help with that. Now we do, and that makes it that much harder to really focus on a guy and say, if we stop him, this team falls apart, because that's not what this team is anymore.
I agree, and I'm going to give you a chance to yell at me. I'm going to give somebody some love, and that's Isaac Okoro as well. The three-pointer, the jump shot it's not beautiful. It'll never be beautiful, but it does not look anywhere near as ugly as it used to. And when that, yeah. and here's the thing now, when Isaac Okoro gets the ball in the corner, I'm actually like, oh, that's going in. It's going in. Yeah. Okay. It didn't. Oh, it's going in. Okay. And I also kind of like him in the starting lineup sometimes.
It depends. But that's the best thing about how this offense is run is you could not 1 through 5, but like you could shuffle however way you want with this, like these 10 guys, and you're gonna get a lineup that could win you a game.
Especially now that Max Strus is back healthy, and obviously the addition of DeAndre Hunter as well. But yeah, Ty Jerome. But you don't touch Ty Jerome. You leave him coming off the bench to just.
Of course, but I'm saying you could pick and pop any of these guys in a spot start, and they can give you a chance to win a game.
You get a bad matchup, somebody in the starting lineups eating up Darius Garland. Okay, we go Max Strus and we go Isaac Okoro and we go.
Exactly. Okay. It's the way it is. And that is the best when it comes to a playoff scenario, because it's not these one-off games where you get lucky, maybe a team's hurt. In a 7-game series when you can kind of play different kind of matchups and maybe attack the game one way in game one, then in game two do a completely other way and still be as successful. That's how you win series. That's how you win championships.
Exactly, because then it becomes just you're doing what's needed for the team. And if that means your 40 minutes comes staggered a little differently, or your 35 minutes, your 33 minutes are staggered a little differently, at the end of the day, who cares if we're raising a banner? So I 100% agree there. You did not yell at me for insinuating in some way to trade Darius Garland.
But there was no trade there. There was no trade.
Or moving him around in some fashion.
That's okay. As long as we listen, man, we keep him here. All right. We keep him here.
I'm with it. All right. That'll do it for Guard the Land. We can just call it Guard the Land. That's it, because we're covering it all. And Straub, you've been missing.
No football, man. Ugh.
I know. No football. You've been missing. I had to kind of scramble with the segment, and football, our footy, gets played on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. And what better to do on a Saturday or Sunday morning than to eat some bakery?
Schmoopy Sweets and Treats, the official bakery of the Straub Sports Show. Make sure you get on Facebook and follow Schmoopy Sweets and Treats for all your baked goods and delights. Free delivery in the local area. Shout out to Paula. She's been with us for a while now, and everything that you order is quality. Now, if you're looking for your gluten-free and allergy-free items, she has those as well as danishes, donuts, cannolis, breads, cupcakes, anything you desire.
God, I missed it so much.
Listen, I wanted to do the cannolis, but I felt like the commercial needed to be a bit more professional. So shout out to Paula, shout out to Schmoopy Sweets and Treats. Get your breads, get your danishes, get your cannolis. All right, Straub, it's time. You're back. It's time to talk some footy. Damn it, let's do it. All right.
And listen, there has been not some movement, but some gaps since we've been talking about it.
Absolutely, there's been some gaps. Let's hit some highlights. Liverpool beat Manchester City 2-0 a little bit earlier last weekend, and then this week beat Newcastle 2-0. Villa played one of their best games all year when they came in and beat Chelsea 2-1, and then turned around this week or in midweek and lost to Crystal Palace 4-1. Excuse me. West Ham beat 10-man Arsenal 1-0 on the weekend. Arsenal turned around and dropped points again midweek with a 0-0 draw at Forest. And because we can never just forget about my own misery, I sucked at Everton for 70-plus minutes before storming back to get a 2-2 draw. Then
great game, by the way.
Was it? Yeah, sure, it was, but
neutral, great game.
Neutral, great game. Then I sucked for the first 25 to 30 minutes against Ipswich, got a red card, and then big blockhead Harry Maguire came through for us clutch early in the second half as Manchester United climbs into 14th place with a 3-2 win at Ipswich. I can't even keep a straight damn face trying to say this shit myself.
One of the nuttiest games I've ever seen.
It was. You got some wins there, Manchester City. You're still not winning the Premier League this year, but yeah, you're in the Champions League spot. So Drew,
for now,
which of those highlighted points would you like to start with?
I want to talk about kind of not on a sour note, but on kind of just the way the table's going. We're not really gonna get a title race or a relegation race if you kind of look at it. Obviously, the title race I think is well out of hand, especially because Arsenal keep dropping points, and so Liverpool is kind of gonna run away with this because of how just insanely well they're playing. But if we're talking about the bottom as well, I know Wolves are kind of playing pretty bad, and West Ham with the win today jumped above Everton. They beat Leicester 2-0. Every team that had got promoted last season is going to go back down, and I don't believe that this is something that we can point to one thing or the other. I don't, because if you look at Nottingham Forest, they got promoted 2 years ago, and now they're fighting for top four. So I don't believe that it's up and down. It's a closed off league. But this year is just one of those things where it doesn't look like there's a very big middle, but in terms of upper echelon and lower echelon, there's a massive gap in between. And Sean, we will talk about the fight for Europe because I think there's a lot of good stuff there.
You stole it. I was going to bring it up at the very end because that's where the real race is. Yes, all 3 promoted teams likely to go down, predicted by Andrew Straub of the Straub Bro Sports Show. I had Wolves going down, not Ipswich or Leicester. Actually, I think I had Wolves in possibly Everton or Crystal Palace. So I really screwed that one. Pooch on that one.
We'll bring it up at the end. I'll find the screenshots.
But yeah, I mean, I think I know it's funny and it's fun on this show to dump on Arsenal because, I mean, they're Arsenal. You're obviously a Chelsea fan. You hate Arsenal. I'm a Manchester United fan. I newly, over the last 10 to 15 years, don't like them either. They kind of blew this. They have had every opportunity to take this thing. Manchester City, injuries, rattled. Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Newcastle, newcomers in the terms of this year being in that top 4, battling around, taking points from each other. Arsenal had it right there. Liverpool, I will give them sorry, that was hard to get out. I will give them some credit because they are obviously first place. They have gotten points, consistently. They haven't been this like crazy outstanding team that's just unbeatable and, unpenetrable defense and can't stop the goals flying in around on the other side. Like, they've been beatable. And Arsenal have just, once again, year after year, have just completely choked away the league.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say, though,
not even competitive.
No, I will say, though, obviously, I think Liverpool defense is very beatable. I think Mo Salah is having one of the
outstanding year.
One of the best years I've ever seen in the Premier League. I think he right now is tied for like 7th or 8th in goal contributions in a season, and he
is leaving. And this club has a bit of turmoil in their locker room because 3 of their biggest veterans have pretty much come out and said, "We're out of here because you've disrespected us with contracts," and they're still on top of Arsenal.
Yeah. So I think that's one of those things where obviously Arsenal have to kind of take a long look in the mirror and say, what do we have to change here? But I think we can kind of, I want to just avoid the Arsenal topic in general because, hey, listen, you're still making Champions League. You're still, I think, in the Champions League. Okay. Yes, you are.
Oh, they are. Okay.
And so
I just assumed they were.
If we're gonna obviously Liverpool upper echelon 1, Arsenal are a very distant second, and a little bit below 3 through 10 is separated by 6 points. Everyone has
hold on. You don't want to go 3 through 14?
No, not particularly. Considering that's a 15-point gap and not a 6-point gap. And so this is going to be a very, very fun rest of the season. Do I think Nottingham Forest and Manchester City have the edge on everyone? Absolutely. But listen, one slip up again by City or by Nottingham Forest, I think honestly is the more likely one, and they're out of the top 4 with a Chelsea win or a couple Newcastle wins. And so this will be a very, very fun end of the season there. In terms of, I was looking at difficulty of schedule. Chelsea have a...
Go ahead.
Chelsea have a very, very difficult schedule coming up. I want to say they play Arsenal, Tottenham, City, and Newcastle, and Nottingham all in the next couple games. City have a little bit of an easier schedule, but still nothing's really easy in the Premier League. So it'll be very, very interesting to see kind of who is keeping form at the end of the season, as City usually kind of keep their form, but it's been a crazy season, so we'll see what happens there.
Absolutely, I agree. How far the mighty have fallen. The FA Cup is ours! The FA Cup is ours!
Oh. Sounds like me last year. Oh. Speaking of, because we don't have Premier League this weekend, we have FA Cup. And 16 teams remain. Unfortunately, all League One and League Two teams were eliminated last week. However, we have 5 championship teams. And as you can see, Cardiff City, they're going to be at Aston Villa. Burnley and Preston North End are playing each other. Millwall is at Crystal Palace, and Plymouth Argyle, for their amazing upset of Liverpool, get the glory of facing Manchester City in the next round. And so if you need
Listen,
if you need some English footy this weekend, here it is.
You can watch these draws live on television, so you can see them pull the random balls out of the different circles. But it is hard for me to not be like, okay, you clearly want them out, and all of the rest to be Premier League teams or at least championship and above, based on the fact that you draw Liverpool and then draw Manchester City after. I get to play American and future Manchester United left back Anthony Robinson.
Hopefully, if City doesn't go by him after losing Kyle Walker.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, man, let's go. I'm excited for that. FA Cup's always a thing. And no, it is not yours. It's mine.
And because we missed it the past couple weeks.
Yes, we have.
The Champions League round of 16 playoffs happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some insane results. Obviously, PSG putting up 10 on Brest through 2 legs is absolutely disgusting after the amazing run that Brest had in the group stage. PSV come back. Yeah, of course you are. I knew you were going to get that. I was trying to move on as fast as possible, but it's fine.
My friend.
The PSV, unfortunately, without the Americans, complete an absolute storming comeback against Juventus. The other Americans and advanced 4-3. Madrid just absolutely dominated both legs and beat Manchester City 6-3 on aggregate. Dortmund cleared and kind of coasted in the second leg to beat Sporting 3-0 on aggregate. Club Brugge dominates Atalanta 3-1 on an aggregate 5-2. Celtic was this close to taking Bayern Munich to extra time before a Alphonso Davies stoppage time goal puts them through over Celtic. An amazing game, by the way. Celtic making defensive stands left and right. Unfortunately, just couldn't go for any longer. Feyenoord hold on to beat AC Milan in another massive upset of a Dutch team beating a Italian team 2-1 on aggregate. And this Monaco Benfica game that ended 1-0 in the first leg, and then was, I want to say, 1-0 Monaco in the and the end of the first half finishes 3-3 with Benfica moving on. Absolutely insane game there. And so, as you can see, 2 American teams move on, and here is the bracket the rest of the way. You have the Madrid derby in Atletico versus Real Madrid in the first leg. And then the winner takes on Liverpool and PSG, which is an amazing game. Arsenal versus PSV, the comebacks. We'll see if Arsenal can regain form or if they're in tune for another upset. We'll face on Club Brugge or a struggling Aston Villa in the league. We have the Munich derby in Bayern Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich, taking on the winner of Feyenoord and Inter Milan, which is another great game. Feyenoord definitely an upset contender there. Barcelona and Benfica. Listen, do not count out this Benfica team. They are scrappy and they are really good. And this Barcelona team has been known to potentially just lose some cataclysmic games. They will take on the winners of Lille and Dortmund, where Dortmund tries not to get upset in the Champions League once again. We will see what happens.
They're usually good here. They're usually good on this round. So we'll see what happens. I completely forgot that Aston Villa had qualified and did not have to play in the knockout stage. So Marcus Rashford and Marcus Asensio get to play some Champions League football for Aston Villa. That's huge there. Yeah, well done, Straub.
This is going to be fun. Like, this is where it starts to get really good.
I'm interested now.
Yeah. Like, before you're like, okay, we'll see, but now you lock in.
I watched. I don't miss Kate. I don't miss Kate.
No.
We don't miss that. Okay.
Never.
And Jamie and Thierry too, but yeah, we don't miss Kate. So yeah, we always watch our Champions League coverage. All right, Straub, keep it rolling.
Yes. So we obviously had our EPL, our Champions League, our FA Cup, but another league has started, and that is the MLS. And as you can see, it is a new graphic from last year, not just because it's a new year, but because we have a brand new team. If you look in the top left, San Diego FC has completed and is now the 30th MLS team, 15 in the East, 15th in the West. And what did they do their first week? They went to the defending champs, LA Galaxy, away and stole a win 2-0. Ken, I want to say it was luck, but you also didn't have, I want to say, 5 of the 11 players that you won your title with. Your your attacking mid is 35 years old. Your striker is 33. We'll see how it goes this season, but an amazing result for a brand new team in San Diego. Unfortunately, it came at your expense.
Where did everybody go? I know Ricky Pooch is hurt. Where did everybody else go?
They're gone, man.
I don't listen. I was too much busy enjoying the off-season championship to actually pay attention to truthfully what was really going on transactional wise with my team, because Manchester United has just completely depressed me from watching any other form of soccer in any way, other than my son's team. Our last game this week and two, by the way. I'm scared. Ricky Pooch is not going to be back for months. I don't even know who the 35-year-old striker you were referring to is.
35-year-old attacking mid is Royce. And
yeah,
then
I know. Royce is. I mean, he's supposed to be a sub. He's supposed to come on for the last.
Oh, he played 72 minutes, man.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
The 33-year-old striker is ex-Columbus Crew striker Christian Ramirez.
Oh, yeah, we went and got Christian Ramirez. I do remember that. You know what? I didn't know he was 35 years old. That was the problem. I knew we got Christian Ramirez. I didn't know he was 35 years old. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But, hey, guess what? We won the championship last year. So, for all of the year and the entire year until someone wins the championship, I get to rub it in your face that I won a championship. So, I don't care. Oh, shout out to the Galaxy uniforms. The purple ones that look like it's a galaxy. Those are pretty dope.
Oh, absolutely. Some other notable result.
None of those. Sorry, none of the Uniwatch. None of those beat the Columbus Crew Goosebumps uniforms. Those are some of the sickest things I've ever seen.
Some other notable results. San Jose, after getting the Wooden Spoon Award last year, crushed Real Salt Lake 4-0. Hey, listen, I've been hearing a lot of good things from the San Jose team. So we'll see kind of what they kind of come up with this year. Inter Miami had a 90 plus 10-minute stoppage time goal to draw with New York City FC, as we continue to see that this form that they ended with last season is continuing on to this season. As, listen, maybe Miami, maybe they're just a little too old.
Dude, it's week 1 and I'm tired of them. It's week 1 and I'm tired of Inter Miami. I'm tired of Messi. I'm tired. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They'll be able to get enough points. I'll guarantee this. They will not be first in the East this year.
I tend to agree.
They'll have enough points to make the playoffs, and then the same thing is going to happen. Eventually, they are going to run out having to play that many games. Somebody will get hurt because everyone on that team that's worth a damn is older than me, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, listen, that's very fair. I tend to agree with you, but obviously we'll see what happens. And finally, in a game against two teams that were on the fringe of the playoffs last year, one made it, one didn't, but I do believe are going to be massive playoff contenders this year. Atlanta United beat Montreal 3-2 in a back-and-forth game, which I think was honestly the game of the week. Absolutely fantastic. Atlanta United being predicted by multiple outlets as being the title contender in the East this year. These are two teams that I think we're going to be hearing a lot of kind of come September and October. And so I am excited to kind of see where this goes. Cincinnati won, Columbus won. So kind of rounding up there, but very, very early. We're going to check in on them periodically throughout the year.
Yes.
But I think this is going to be a fun year for MLS.
We are not going to do an every week MLS segment. Maybe we will sneak it into a show if we don't have a footy segment that week as we get closer. I guess I will break some news. The show is going to eventually shut down when we get to our Rapids season. We're going to take a break from doing the podcast as we broadcast, and then we'll fire her back up soon as the season is over. But, yeah, we're going to check in on the MLS. MLS, here, I'll leave your graphic up. You want me to cover your league more? Don't make me pay $89 behind an Apple paywall to watch your games, because I sucked it up and I did it last year because I was like, you know what? I'm riding with this Galaxy train. I want to cover them. I want to cover these games. I want to watch. And then this year I just looked at it and was like, I can't justify paying $89 to watch
a soccer league that is not worth $89. I'd pay $89 to watch the Premier League. I'm not paying $89 to watch the MLS.
But I think that's the problem.
Do better.
Is that was it $89 for the year, $90 for the year?
Yeah, it's $89 for the year.
Yeah, and what's Peacock? $7, $8?
I think it's like $5. Oh no,
$5?
I think I got the skip, so it might be $7.
Right, so $7. So you take that over along, the Premier League season. It's about the same. And if I'm paying about that for the Premier League, I'm paying about half for the MLS. I'm sorry, that's
it. That's
what it is.
So give me some free games on Fox, and I got you. But that's about all I got for you. So all right. Last but certainly not least, I was very disappointed that I was not able to do it last week because I wanted to try to kill it myself. But it's not the longest reigning now because you took a week off, so you need a couple weeks to rebuild back your title. But the best American segment in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Americans Abroad.
And you know what? I got a special treat because this includes all 3 weeks that we've missed. Christian Pulisic has got 2 assists and a 2-0 win for AC Milan. Alejandro Zendaya has got 2 goals and an assist in 3 games. He is absolutely killing it so far. Josh Sargent, we're talking about people that are killing it. 4 goals and 2 man of the matches in 3 games on an absolute tear, trying to get Norwich City into that championship playoff. Matt Turner, in his game against Doncaster in a 2-0 win, man of the match. Absolutely fantastic in the games that he can play. John Tolkien gets an assist in a 2-2 draw. Unfortunately, he did get injured for Holston Kill, so he'll be out for a minute. Weston McKennie continues to do well, get a goal in a 2-1 win. Austin Trusty an assist and a man of the match in a 3-0 win for Celtic. Taylor Booth gets his first assist in a new team for Twente in a 2-0 win. Griffin Yao gets his first assist in a new team for Westerlo in a 1-1 draw. Tim Weah continues to have an amazing season for Juventus, gets his 6th goal in a 3-1 loss. And Marlon Fossey continuing to be that defensive stout for Standard Liège, gets his first assist in a 2-1 win.
You were a little early today.
I was.
That was absolutely well done. Josh Sargent, sunrises, sunsets, a healthy Josh Sargent scores. And that's just what it is. I love him so much. You forgot one. You disappointed me. You missed an American. I know he wasn't abroad, but who did you message your brother that scored this week?
Who did I message that scored this week?
Jordan.
Oh, Jordan Morris. It's not abroad. He's not abroad. It doesn't count. Oh, you know what? No, I did miss one. You know why? Because I forgot to put him in, and I put in debuts, and I put in people that have missed matches or an extended amount of time that have missed matches and come back and played their first match. Daryl DK has not played a competitive match since spring 2024. I want to say April or May. February 15th, he got in for 13 minutes. 13 minutes against Millwall in the championship. He was on the bench for against Oxford last week. He is back. I love this guy. He has so much potential, and honestly, in my opinion, could be in that mix with Josh Sargent, Pepe, Balogun, all that. If he hits form, he is that good, and I need to see him in this Poch system. And so thank God he is back.
Should have been on the World Cup roster. I won't bring that up over under 100 more times until the next World Cup, honestly. And yes, I agree with everything you just said. He is absolutely in that mix for that number 1 spot for our number 9. Fantastic. Well done today, Strabo. Before we wrap it up, I want to give everybody some love. We won't rerun the commercials, although, I mean, I would love to. But make sure you follow us, Straub Bro Sports Show. Thank you if you are on YouTube. If you are there on our YouTube page, please click and subscribe. And make sure you check there for your one-stop shop for everything Straub Bro Sports Show, all our podcasts and interviews. You can find us on X, Straub Bro Sports, TikTok, the SBSS, at Instagram at Straub Bro Sports Show, and the Spotify, the Straub Bro Sports Show. Big shout out to the Falls Rapids. We are your official broadcast team. Make sure you give them some love on Facebook. Make sure you click the like on the Cuyahoga Falls Rapids. Give them a follow on Instagram at Official Rapids, and get your gear at fallsrapids.myshopify.com. Big news. We cleared some legal hurdles. We are allowed to officially talk and brag about the fact that our games will be played at the University of Akron. home stadium. So a big shout there. Infocision Stadium. There's a whole speech on the way I'm supposed to say it, and I already screwed it up. So I apologize, and I will fix that for next week. Also, our guys over at Sports Tank, Gridiron, make sure you follow them on Facebook as well, as they will be broadcast. They will be sending our broadcast. Yeah, these two goofballs, our broadcast overseas to the UK and Ireland, so they will be able to hear the Rapids games or watch the Rapids games as the Falls Rapids and the Straub Sports Show are going global. Make sure you check out all those interviews. I'll be dropping one next week. I also have big things going. I have some interviews lined up all on Tuesday. I will be taking, obviously, we will not be having a show. I will be taking that off so I can get some Rapids interviews to get you some more content there. Shout out to Austin at Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Make sure you follow him on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021 and get that fresh apparel at cywapparel.myshopify.com. I try to share as much as I can, but follow him yourself because he puts a lot of stuff out and is good quality stuff. And I get to distract bro one more time. Schmoopy Sweets and Treats. Make sure you get on Facebook and follow, because that is where you get your orders in. Slide into those DMs and get your orders in. What are you getting? You're getting a little bit of everything. I got to take the Valentine's Day menu down. Obviously, that's not there. I got to get that St. Patrick's Day menu up immediately. That's my bad. Get your breads, get your bagels, get your croissants, get your cheesecakes, get your donuts, get your muffins, get your danishes, and you bring me a cannoli, okay? Because I'm that kind of guy and I like me a cannoli, all right? So shout out to everybody. Shout out to all our friends of the show. Shout out to all of you. Bro, final thoughts.
Yes, thank you for listening, watching, however you digest this amazing podcast. I am so glad to be back. It has been way too long. And also, like I said, we're going to start the bracket challenge here soon. We're going to send out something, make sure everyone gets involved there. And what better way to get yourself kind of acclimated and ready for this basketball and this March Madness season? There are 4 top 25 matchups on Saturday. In case you need some sports to watch this weekend, that is it. It is going to be an amazing slate this weekend. So check that out, but also just have an amazing weekend regardless of what you do.
I guess I know what we'll be watching on Saturday together. FA Cup and pre-March Madness. Thank you, everybody. Whether you are, like I said, listening, watching it back live, commenting in, throwing your comments in afterwards, we do see those. We appreciate every single one of you. Stay tuned for that Straub Sports Show bracket challenge as well. I want all my Rapids guys in there as well. We want to make this a big thing going on. Thank you, everybody. We always appreciate you. And as always, please remember to love yours.